Welcome to Inner Peace Arts Unscripted. I'm your host, James Coleman, where if you're attending the presentation, you're open to the truth as it can be known, following in new ideas and actions, making for a better way of life. I'm going to pick up on personal responsibility. It's a theme that I've talked about before, but now I want to kind of start to ground it in some, ways of thinking, experiencing, so that we can get better at doing it, all of us. So the notion of personal responsibility is often one that's difficult to accept. And I want to make it easier to accept, in the sense that I'm saying that we're now going to be growing into taking more and more responsibility for the choices that we make. More and more responsibility for how we respond to what happens to us, such that our responses bring us the things that we need, that we want, and express the kinds of truths that we want those around us to be exposed to and influenced by. And so that's something that we can do. We can respond in such a way that we have an impact on people, and that's the whole point. One of the ideas that I really want to make prevalent in all of these presentations is that we're not to be as the scribes, meaning that we're not just speaking platitudes and not having any kind of real power and impact behind them. And so that's why, we do things the way we do it, so that we're actually having an impact. So we grow in personal responsibility. Something happens to you, and oftentimes the language we use is "he made me do it," or "she made me do it," or "that made me do that." When the fact of the matter is, when you think about what's actually happening, something comes into you, you pick up sense data, the sense data is processed, and then there is a response that happens by you. And I'm saying that personal responsibility is what happens in that processing place, where the information comes in, the sense data comes in, and then you decide what to do with it. So you can be trained to respond the way you want to respond. Your life, your body is like a piano of sorts for you. You are not your body. You are not your responses. You are not the body's responses. You are, in a sense, of mystery. And being of mystery, you can impact this body, your body, and make it do more or less things that you want it to do within the scope of the things that it can do. So this is why we can then say, I am, or you are, responsible for the choices we make, responsible for the things that we do. Inasmuch as we develop the skill set to manage the body, we can be responsible. Notice I'm not saying hold responsible. That's a whole other subject. Don't want to really get into that as much as into just you making decisions, responding in such a way that you are acting according to your agenda, acting according to the things that you want, acting according to the things that you believe, acting to change what you believe, acting to instill a belief in yourself, acting to express a belief or truth such that those around you are impacted by it, and making these choices on purpose. And that's what personal responsibility is. And you already have the power to choose, right, to make some choice. So we're exercising that choice to control and habitize our responses such that at some point, for any given kind of response, you no longer have to think about it, but it's embodied and it happens automatically, and you're able to work with that part of you which is not conscious or not within your bounds of awareness, so that you can work with that with more ease, right? So that your unconscious is actually starting to support your agenda, your desires, your beliefs, your wants, your goals. And so that's a bit on personal responsibility. It's simple, but at the same time, it's something that you do every day. Every time something happens and your response is not as you would want it to be, you replay what you want in your mind. The mind as imagination, that's really one of the drivers that's going to empower your taking more personal responsibility. It's using your imagination to say, this is how I want to be, this is how I want to act, this is how I want to feel, and playing that out, and using the situations that come your way to test yourself until eventually you're always passing the test and you move on to apply your conscious mind to other things. And of course, the more things that you program in yourself that are according to your agenda, the fewer things that you have to pay attention to keep yourself on track. So you can see the relationship between personal responsibility and actually getting your agenda done. So that's what I wanted to share today. That we can take more and more responsibility for our actions, that our actions can drive forward our agenda, use our imaginations, that we are responsible, and that we can make improvements. And in working with this kind of responsibility, we become a change agent, less influenced by the things that happen to us and more influencing the things that happen to us. So this has been Inner Peace Arts Unscripted. Check out the blog, innerpeacearts.wordpress.com. Email me at innerpeacearts@protonmail.com, and Facebook and Twitter at innerpeacearts1. And this has been impactful, and I'm sure that you're able to take this and do something with it and feel something with it that you weren't able to feel and do before, and that this enhances whatever you were able to do before. Yavarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'el Adonai panav elecha v'yihuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. In distinction, thanks be to stream, in stream, by stream.